Hey everyone, welcome back to Kayfabe Corner. As you can see, I'm not in my normal spot in the Deadpool Bar and Grill. I'm actually on my way to work, and I didn't get a chance to get together with Vince to do a Money in the Bank prediction video this week. So I'm going to do a quick and dirty one, because who doesn't like it quick and dirty? Starting off, we have Bryan and Rowan, poor Daniel Bryan, versus the Usos in a non-title match. A little odd, but I guess the plan is to not have the Usos lose because they're still trying to make them happy because they want to keep them around, keep them from going to AEW. This will be on the pre-show, which is also a shame because these four don't deserve to be on the pre-show. They should be on the main card. They should just make, if they're going to do it, they might as well just make the actual show longer. Why not? Shows are already 5 hours. What's another couple minutes? Because you know they're not going to give them a lot of time, which is a shame because these guys could put on a great match. In the end, I think the whole reason it's a non-title match is to give the Usos a win. Not the worst thing in the world. I hate seeing Daniel Bryan lose. I always have. Huge fan of the guy, but it is what it is. It's a non-title match, so it really doesn't matter, and 50-50 booking being what it is, we all know that's coming. Next up, it looks like we're going to have the Cruiserweight Championship, Tony Nese and Ariya Daivari, which, you know, finally using Ariya Daivari for what he's supposed to be used for, which is the Cruiserweight division, and he's excellent. They just put the belt on Tony Nese. Does anyone actually see him losing yet? So, Tony Nese in a damn good match. They're not going to give him nearly enough time. They'll probably, both matches will be on the pre-show. It's kind of a shame, but it is what it is. Then we get into the main card. I wouldn't be surprised if they put on Becky first, but I'm going to start in the order they have it on the website I looked at. Samoa Joe, Rey Mysterio for the U.S. title. Samoa Joe is just awesome. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. I don't see him losing this match. He won the quick one. We all know how that turned out at WrestleMania because of Rey's injury. They've been building up Dominic for so long. I mean, there's almost no chance he doesn't get involved, right? Samoa Joe, probably with some outside interference. But either way, Samoa Joe retains. Next up, The Miz and Shayna Mac, which, for some reason, Vince seems to think Shane is a headliner, so I'm surprised Shane isn't on the top of the card. But anyway, I think this is where Miz gets his win back, and you'll probably see an appearance from the Miz's dad. I think we all kind of already expect that. But the match should be good. I mean, the Miz is an excellent worker, we all know that, and Shane will do what he has to do to make a match fun. Next up, Roman Reigns and Elias. You know, originally I had thought there's no way Roman Reigns loses this, right? I actually think I expect Elias to win here. I think, you know, Vince really likes Elias. He loves that he can just throw him out there for a segment. He can always get heat. And if he wants to, he can give Roman his win back on Raw or SmackDown, depending where he ends up showing up because of that stupid wild card rule that makes no sense for anything. But I think Elias wins this one. Probably a short match. You'll see the normal Roman getting beat down like crazy. He'll make his comeback. Elias will win with something like a roll-up, or he'll win it with a quick finish. Next, Kofi Kingston as the WWE champ, which is awesome, against KO. If you'd have asked me, 6 months ago, I would have loved to seen KO with this belt. But I think Kofi deserves a long run, at least until SummerSlam. And I think they know if they take the belt off him this early, they're going to be looked at in a bad light. So I think Kofi wins this one in a good match. And maybe gets attacked after the belt. We come to our first Becky Lynch match against Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's title. You know this is going to be a good match. We've seen it a million times, but we know it's a good one. And the shame of it is, it would be nice to see them put Charlotte somewhere else for now. Maybe even give her a tag partner. Let her run with the tag belts for a bit. I would love to see them not have Charlotte win this belt. Let Becky have her run as Becky 2 belts. Keep selling the shirts. Truth is, I like Becky more than Charlotte anyway, so that's just a personal opinion. But I think Becky's going to have her long run, which I think is deserved. She works her butt off. So Becky wins this one in a good, hard-fought match. Then we come up to the first women's Money in the Bank ladder match, which is, I mean, you end up with 8 participants this time around. They're really going all out with this now, which is fine. It gets a lot of people on the card, which I do like. But you have, let's see here, Natalya, Dana Brooke, Naomi, Bayley, Mandy Rose, Ember Moon, Carmella, and Nikki Cross. I apologize, I have to keep looking at my book. Who can remember all the names? In the end, I think Bayley gets the win. I think Vince is trying to convince her to stay because she may be on her way out just like Sasha once. So I think Bayley ends up winning this one. They could swerve everybody and give it to a Mandy Rose or a Nikki Cross, but the truth is I think they want a face win in this one because I think a heel wins the men's Money in the Bank. Speaking of which, we come to the men's. We got Sami Zayn, Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, the former Mustafa Ali, Finn Balor, Andrade, and Randy Orton. I think if Randy Orton were to win this, I would scream and probably throw something through my TV, which would be bad. But I see a heel win in this. If they don't give it to Baron Corbin, which I would actually be surprised if they didn't give it to Baron Corbin, because I think they really like him, it'll be Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is a guy they know they can build around in the future, which, good for him. He's worked his butt off to get back to where he is again. So hopefully, this match goes the way it should, and Drew McIntyre gets the belt. Or I apologize, gets the briefcase. I think at some point he's going to have the Universal title. This should be a fun match, though, because anytime you give Ricochet something to jump off of, as well as I do, he's going to do it. All right. And then you have Seth Rollins versus the man AJ Styles for the Universal Championship. This is actually a hard one for me to call because I keep getting the feeling they're pulling the trigger to move away from Seth because the ratings are low. I think McMahon blames him for some reason. It is not his fault. It's the storylines you put forth, but McMahon's never going to believe that, which is a shame because that means other people are going to suffer. But I still think Seth wins this one, and I think we finally see a full AJ heel turn. And I think you see the club come together again. You get Gallows and Anderson out afterwards, and they'll use the wild card rule to keep them together, which, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. It's not the end of the world. So hopefully they give them enough time, because if you give these guys, 35 minutes or so, which they should, this match would be incredible. Apologize, I got to take a drink. And then we come to Becky against Lacey Evans for the Women's Championship on Raw. Again, I think Becky wins. Should be a good match. Lacey Evans isn't a bad worker. I'm not a huge fan of the shtick, but she's not a bad worker. And I think Vince is actually pretty high on her right now. But we may see a cash-in after this. And I will say, if I'm right and Bayley wins the Money in the Bank match, this could be a Bayley heel turn, which would actually probably do wonders for her character. I had thought about throwing a bonus prediction for the women's tag team championships in here, which, last I saw they didn't announce it. But then again, I didn't pay attention much on SmackDown. That's my own fault. If there is a tag team championship match for the women's side, we already know the Iconics are the champions. It'll be the Kabuki Warriors, which is why? Just why? You could have come up with something better. But I think Vince is not a fan of Asuka, which is a shame. So, he's not a fan of foreign champions, it seems like, at all, which is just stupid. Because Asuka should have had a long run as the women's champion, and they dropped the ball on that. But, be that as it may, her and Kairi Sane, I would love to see them win the tag team championships, but that would just be playing hot potato. So, I would think the Iconics would retain, which would be awesome to see. And we already know the SmackDown Men's Championship is not going to be defended, which they do such a poor job. They have so many titles at this point, it's almost becoming like boxing. They have too many, and they don't put enough time into writing stories around the championships. And the shame is they have such a great roster of people. The championships should mean more. They just don't. And honestly, it all started as soon as they put the belts on part-timers. they stop meaning as much because the part-timers don't show up. And it's sad to say that because I do love Brock Lesnar and Goldberg and even The Rock. Those guys that I got to see years ago, it was nice to see them again, but I don't want to see them, you know, holding main championships when there's guys that work 6 nights, 7 nights a week. You know, they don't deserve to be treated that way. But anyway, that's my wrap for Money in the Bank 2019. Hope to see you all again. Hope you guys have a great Sunday. Enjoy your night. I'm going to be watching Money in the Bank and Game of Thrones. It's going to be a little tough, but I'll make it work. Please try and support the channel. Watch, like, share, subscribe. Love you guys. You take care. For Kayfabe Corner, I'm George Waite. Talk to you soon.